Right, I've got this.
I believe
I've got
in
this.
you.
I don't believe in. But okay, we'll continue. Go
Why
on.
do you have to get the last word then?
Stop fucking talking!
Can this just be the intro? It's so much more entertaining. Alright. Hello everyone and welcome back to the second episode of the Thank God It's Smarky podcast. For those of you who missed our first one, somewhere nearby there'll be a link to the episode from last week. If you're watching this on YouTube, chances are it'll be in the description. If you're on iTunes, Twitter, SoundCloud, wherever the hell you're listening to us, then just look about and I'm sure you'll see it somewhere. Go and listen to it because from that you'll probably know that this is a podcast dedicated to the world of wrestling. We're going to be covering all of the latest news and developments from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, as well as a few other little bits and pieces on the side. My name is Matt McConnell. Today I'm with Sam Stapleton,
Hiya.
Joseph Royal,
Hi.
and the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Young.
What's up?
Cool. So let's crack on with this week's Raw. What did you guys make of it?
I enjoyed it a lot. It was... I mean, there were disappointing bits that more was expected, but Ambrose absolutely stole this show beyond any shadow of a doubt. He is the man.
I mean, I think it was hard to follow what was such a good episode last week. So it's not that we can't expect this to be, the most exciting episode ever. But watching this Raw, I was disappointed myself. It didn't flow. There wasn't much of a point to it in the long run, apart from maybe like two things.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't have a surprise return every week, can you? So, as far as it feeling kind of as special as the previous weeks, that was never really going to happen. As for the show in general, it felt pretty solid Raw to me. Pretty 6.57 out of 10. The one thing that really was enjoyable for it was that Ambrose kind of acted as the main focal point of the show, in that they don't run storylines all the way through the show anywhere near as much as they should, but when they do it, it tends to be with the opening segment and then it kind of comes full circle at the end, and I really enjoyed the story that they told of Ambrose this week.
Yeah. I mean, obviously with Roman Reigns being out this week, they needed someone on that level to really sell the show. And I think, if anything, this is going to prove that Ambrose is certainly someone worthy of being a main eventer for the next year or so.
Yeah, Ambrose has really stepped up his game lately, and he's shown that he can be a guy who can be relied on.
So the big bit regarding Ambrose kind of brings us back to what we were discussing at the end of the last episode, was the match that's been announced for the network special, which is now called WWE Roadblock. Triple H defending the championship against Dean Ambrose. What do you guys think?
Going to be a great match. I read some guy, he said basically this event is going to be what WrestleMania should have been in most aspects.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to agree with that. This match is going to be... I'm predicting it's going to be a lot better than the Roman Reigns Triple H match. And
I disagree.
Ooh, that's a bold prediction. I'm not actually sure about that one.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a better match. Maybe not in terms of story, but as a spectacle, I think it's going to be a fantastic match.
I reckon it'll be a good match, but I reckon Roman Reigns and Triple H's style will come off as a better match.
I agree there. I mean, I think the fans are going to be a lot more into this match just because it's Dean Ambrose. And, we were talking last week about how Triple H is going to come across as the babyface in the WrestleMania match, but I think this time, hopefully they're going to get it the right way, if you will. Like, Triple H is going to be the heel. Dean Ambrose is
I
going
don't
to be
see
the
how they
babyface.
can get it the wrong way. There's no way that that Triple H will get cheered in this match.
Well,
Because he's
But he
just going
also
to viciously
got
destroy.
He got heat the right way though, not just because it was Ambrose. It's because
Because he was sadistic and brutal.
Yeah, and
Didn't
because
give a
the
crap about
stuff
his
he was
well-being.
saying to Ambrose, that was heat worthy. proving that he can get heat. Not just because it was Ambrose, just because he got heat. But yeah, the fans will be so into Ambrose at Roadblock.
The only thing that like I'm kind of like a bit annoyed about is that it's so like predictable, and you're going to get this problem with any pay-per-view or special that's following that's coming up before WrestleMania. But it's like, I kind of wish that they saved this match for after WrestleMania, where we could have at least thought, might Ambrose win? This time it just seems like it's,
I
they've
think it
set
could
up
be.
both matches for WrestleMania, what with Ambrose going against Lesnar and Triple H going against Reigns, so there's nothing there that's really making me feel like, oh god, I need to see this just in case Ambrose does win.
If they do it, it would be a huge surprise, but I think it's not out of the realms of possibility. But no, I don't think it will be.
It'd be great. Like, it'd be an amazing swerve.
It'd be an amazing swerve if it did.
I mean, I saw a few people on Reddit talking about potentially having Brock Lesnar come out and cost Triple H the match, so he would then get into a championship match at WrestleMania against Ambrose. I don't think...
Don't you think that as well?
It's the logical thing.
What
I'd
have Brock come out and have Brock and Ambrose brawl to like the back or something, and then Roman Reigns comes out and probably put Triple H through a table or spur him through the barricades.
Yeah.
So then you're still continuing both storylines to WrestleMania.
There's one problem with that though. That's been pointed out. That's Roman Reigns isn't fighting Triple H, he's fighting the champion. Because he won a right to challenge for the championship, not the right necessarily to face Triple H.
Yeah, that was pointed out
but
on
he's
Raw.
They could ignore that, but
he's going to want payback because Triple H busted his nose. But he ain't going to want to fight Ambrose or cost Ambrose the match, is he? He ain't going to go out and attack Ambrose. He's going to come out and attack Triple H. I'd have Brock and Ambrose brawl to the back, and then Roman spear Triple H with a barricade. So you're still building both storylines to WrestleMania. Like, you could even have Ambrose win the match by disqualification, and then that sets him up for a future title shot in the future.
Yeah, I mean, Ambrose isn't. They're not going to put the title on him. It doesn't make sense for too many reasons at this point. Mainly, the big thing for me is now that they've announced these WrestleMania matches, and I know they could, but I really couldn't now see them calling an audible and changing the lineup for Mania, because it's not going to be Reigns versus Ambrose at WrestleMania, and then they just have to kind of stick Triple H and Lesnar together or make some kind of triple threat or fatal four way. But no matter how you do that, you're gonna lose some of the story in there, and
Fatal four way on the pay per view after WrestleMania would be sick.
that could be a lot of fun.
That'd be great.
Really good.
I'd even save that potentially for like SummerSlam. That's big money match right there.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust them to do a 5-6 month build right there.
It's possible, especially if like Cena's still out, if Rollins is still out. I don't know when Norton's coming back, but if he's still out, you're gonna have to work with them 4 guys to build up the next few months worth of storyline.
I think right now Cena and Rollins are pegged to be back before SummerSlam, but obviously that's kind of only a real rough estimation. Rollins in particular is a difficult injury to come back from.
Yeah, definitely. From NXT, we've got the Tag Team Championship match between Enzo and Cass and Dash and Dawson. Finally. I'm actually really looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be fantastic.
I think this would be the perfect time for a title change.
I disagree, actually. I think that, like, the plan, as far as I know, the plans are for Enzo and Cass to come up within the next few months. I don't know when exactly, but I know it's been talked about for quite some time. I think the perfect people to take the championships off what they call the Revival now, Jordan and Gable.
I liked calling them the Mechanics.
The Mechanics was...
We'll go with the Mechanics.
It's
Sure.
suited.
No, I guess we should go with their official name.
It does sound a bit silly now that I think about it.
Revival.
But
That's odd.
I think they should do Enzo and Cass being screwed out of the title again,
again,
and then have them have you guys clearly don't respect us, so it's the titles or us in NXT at Takeover.
I'd
It
have
was there,
I'd
bro.
have Enzo and Cass go over Roadblock, and then the Revival, like, take the titles back at Takeover. I think that'd get the Revival more heat.
I'm all for Enzo and Cass having a short title reign, just because.
Yeah,
I-
they're coming up soon. They
yeah.
deserve at least one title reign.
Yeah, I'm with
I
that.
don't know. I don't know if it would make sense though to have. I mean, I think the Vaudevillains only had like a month's worth of title reign, but you know, if we're gonna bring Enzo and Cass up straight away, let's say Raw after Mania, like it just wouldn't make sense to just take the titles off them within the space of like 3-4 weeks of getting it.
Well,
They'll get the Revival more heat.
yeah, I think it tells a story, like with Zayn when he lost it so quickly.
Because if they don't win the tag titles, how can you get behind them that they're ever going to win anything? Because they just...
I agree with you there. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, I like Enzo and Cass a lot, but like they're being built as one of the the top tag teams in the NXT, yet they've done nothing. Essentially,
They
And
haven't.
They made Marcus Louis go bald.
There
Oh.
was that.
Get him on the main roster straight away. Like the perfect time was NXT Takeover London. Like, I mean, Sam, you know how hot the crowd was for Enzo and Cass.
In fairness, that crowd was hot for an awful lot of people. Enzo and Cass are over everywhere.
That's true, but London was so freaking hot for them. Like, I'd say they're probably, alongside the obvious ones, probably the most over people, like, on that night.
Oh
And
yeah,
if they won the titles, it would have been incredible. But I think it depends what they choose to do with them when they come up to the main roster. I mean, they wouldn't have to go for the tag titles straight away. Like, if they built them up from scratch again, then
yeah, but I feel like to tell that story, they have to win the NXT tag team titles first, because I feel like they've got to have some like modicum of success to point towards, because otherwise you call them up to the main roster and try to tell that story again of them building up and trying to win the WWE tag team titles. No one realistically is, if they couldn't win the NXT tag team titles, who's going to believe that they're going to be able to win the WWE tag team titles?
yeah, exactly. Like, but I just don't. I don't think it's the right time for them to win the NXT tag team titles. Not now. Not now that the Revival's actually getting a decent bit of heat behind them, rather than just having crickets whenever they walk out. Like, I think Jordan and Gable would benefit so much more of getting those championships at TakeOver than what Enzo and Cass will at Roadblock.
I can agree with that. I think it's going to be a few more bumps before Jordan and Gable topple that mountain though.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'd hate to see the Revival go over them at TakeOver Dallas, if that match actually happens.
Who, American Alpha?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see that.
This is the right time for them to, I feel. Like, with Enzo and Cass, it's been done. I've seen enough of them. Get them up to the main roster and then just kind of reboot them in a way.
Don't start calling for main roster reboots. Don't you remember what happened to your boys, The Ascension?
When I say reboot, I mean, like, just...
I've been thinking about that the entire time. Like, if they go up with no NXT tag team, look how the Ascension fared, and they were the longest reigning ones. And that still didn't give them any shit.
The issue with the Ascension is nobody really cared about them outside of NXT. Like, when they came up, it was a little too soon.
I reckon I think they had a good fan base.
They do.
They had them out on their first day. They cut a promo on like the two biggest tag teams, fan favorite tag teams in Demolition and the Road Warriors. Then everyone's gonna shit over them. Then they got killed on their first night. Cutting
Man,
that promo.
It took them a while.
the thing that really got me with The Ascension is that, see, I'm not against, and it worked particularly well in NXT, bringing in, don't really want to use this word, but jobbers to lose. They had a lot. Ascension came in and had a lot of squash matches, which would still probably work in this day and age. But when the Ascension were doing it, they were the only ones doing it. No one else on the entirety of Raw was beating up nobodies apart from the Ascension. Why the hell is anyone going to care about the Ascension when the only ones on the entire show that's beating nobody? They were put in a bad position from the start, and they never recovered.
Yeah. I mean, I think Enzo and Cass would have a better deal coming in just because they're fan favourites in NXT. The Ascension did have that level of, like, you know, what am I trying to say here? Like, notoriety in a way. But Enzo and Cass have just, like, they've been on numerous house shows now, and they've been over wherever the hell they go. And hopefully they'll have the same reaction when they come up to the main roster. But I'd rather see them come up without a tag team title behind them, rather than have them come up after only like a 2 to 3 week tag team title reign.
Yeah, they need to at least have, if they're going to have a reign, have it be a substantial reign.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the Ascension. I mean, they had it for just about a year, and at least that was something for them to be like, yeah, look, we were year-long tag team champions in NXT. Enzo and Cass, like, if they come up and said, yeah, we had the tag team titles for 2 weeks, we were good.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But either way, I think the match will be great. The one at TakeOver London was fairly good, and I think this one, they've got even more chemistry now. There's a better story behind it. This time it's going to be like, I think it'll probably be one of the best matches on the Roadblock card. Even. Blah. Another match that was announced though, which actually kind of surprised me that they went with this: Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt.
I'm so happy.
I'm happy to see that.
I'm really happy to see this. Because, well, I was going to say I wanted this for WrestleMania. And it's true, I did. I'm glad they went with Ambrose and Lesnar, because I think it's a better story. And I think Ambrose can look good in the loss a lot more than Bray could look good in a loss. I still think Bray will lose here, but it's getting to that point now where they need to be using Lesnar. Not necessarily to put over younger guys, but they definitely need to be getting some kind of rub from him, rather than him facing,
him is a rub.
John Cena. Yeah, and so do I. Exactly. And so the fact that he's now against Wyatt and Ambrose, I'm glad that this is happening. Because even if they lose, at least they can... If it looks like they can... Yeah, if it looks like they can even kind of stand up to Brock Lesnar, they'll look good. Because no one else has been able to have the chance, really, other than Undertaker, Cena, Roman. You can say Rollins, but he didn't exactly look very good in that match. But either way.
No. I mean, watching... He should have.
No, he shouldn't have looked... I never... It's getting a bit off topic, but I never believed that Rollins should have looked dominant. But as their world champion, he should have looked a bit more sneaky or tactical to get some more offense in, rather than get completely destroyed.
Get any offense. Like, that's all
he got a couple of knees. But regardless, Bray Wyatt, with his family, has the potential to look a lot stronger, even if it is by cheating.
I mean, watching back, I've seen a couple of the Brock Lesnar house show matches over the past few months, like the one against Sheamus, you had one against Del Rio. They were fairly two-sided. Like, there were times there was a lot of offense. Yeah, Sheamus's match was fantastic, and I'm sure he enjoyed it.
Like 3 bro kicks in a row. That was good.
I haven't seen this, but I have a lot of money on that being a good match, because that's Sheamus' style all over.
Yeah. I mean, Sheamus has always wanted a match with Lesnar, and you could watch that match, you just know he had so much fun. And I just hope that Wyatt brings the same sort of intensity into this match, because I think he needs it more than anyone else. He needs to prove, look how badass I am, almost beating Brock Lesnar. Of course, so the question lies, where does he go from afterwards? This match doesn't really give Bray much to do from there on.
No, but I'd much rather he lose this than lose to, say, Ryback. I'm struggling to think of a potential feud for Bray Wyatt once again here, but you know, at least he's got a high-profile matchup here to go into WrestleMania with, rather than just going in off the back of that 6-man tag at Fastlane.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, Roadblock looks like it's going to be probably the best network special they've put out there so far.
WrestleMania could have been. That's
here's the WrestleMania you originally wanted. on the WWE Network. Like, no, I'm actually looking forward to it a lot. I think it's going to be
Same
a really
here.
good show.
I think that's the point of it, isn't they? These little specials. They're going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. So going back to Raw now, one thing that was selling Monday Night Raw to everyone this week was the fact that The Undertaker was going to be there.
Woo.
However, he was there for about 3 minutes and then walked out, and we didn't see him again for the rest of the show.
He spent significantly more time walking to the ring than he did actually in the ring.
The best way I could put this is now you know how your girlfriends feel when you last 30 seconds.
So much fucking enthusiasm. You're there like, this is going to be amazing. 30 seconds later. Oh, okay.
Was that it?
Sorry, babe. My bad.
It will happen again, I swear.
We'll try again next week.
Yeah, I couldn't put that any better myself.
I still think he spoke volumes with all the couple of seconds, minutes he had in the ring. I think he did it as well as he could have done. He couldn't have done any better for the time he had.
Obviously,
in fairness,
it's The Undertaker, he can pull that off easy. But I think the point is that you want more, and they're just leaving you wanting more.
That's a good feeling to have.
I don't know.
I don't know here, guys. Obviously, I think we all agree it could have gone on a bit longer, but what did everyone really expect here? No one really wanted, like, a 15-minute dueling promo, did they?
No, but I'd at least expect maybe a 5-minute dueling promo.
I guess, well, how many weeks have we got until WrestleMania now? Is it like 5?
I kind of wanted
What's
Vince to talk Undertaker into it. I didn't want him to just come in and go, yeah, I'll do it, but it's on your hands. Whatever. See you later, bye.
I mean, I like that it made Undertaker look like he's still dangerous. Like, you know, people are saying, I'm going to kill Shane, and that's not my bad. Like, I like that a lot. It's good, like, character work. But at the same time, it's just like, I expect a bit more from an Undertaker feud. If that makes sense. Like,
I guess what you're after is for there to actually be heat between Taker and Shane, or failing that, at least between Taker and Vince.
That's it.
Rather than just kind of, yeah, I'll do this match, but see you later, mate. And that was kind of what happened.
I think they're still in the 4 weeks that there is left.
Yeah, sorry,
to get the heat and...
that is what I was going to say.
I'm sure there's going to be a bit more of a build behind this, rather than him just walking out and saying one line and then walking out again.
They just need to really play up the whole Undertaker being, I'm not your family counsellor. You can sort out your own problems with your own son, you asshole. And then
They should have done that. They should have done that on Raw, though. Like, I think they should have had Vince convince Taker to do it, and then Undertaker leaves with that line he left with on Raw. Like, it was a bit, oh yeah, okay, I'll just do your match. That's on your hands. It was a bit, it was disappointing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think I wouldn't have minded it if maybe they didn't spend the past 7 days saying, The Undertaker's going to be on Raw next week, guys. You definitely have to watch it for that. Like, if maybe he just came out without any announcement behind him whatsoever, then it would have been okay, because it would have been like, oh, well, you know, it was nice seeing him, but the fact that I'm
when you
here...
expect to see him.
Yeah, when I'm here at 2 o'clock in the morning watching this to watch The Undertaker, it's so not worth it. Like, and, you know, I just felt a bit blue-balled in a way.
Yeah, I get you. It did fall a bit flat. Tell you what else fell a bit flat. Stephanie McMahon's promo.
She is good at remembering her lines, isn't she?
It's just terrible, like...
I thought...
When you get past all the... her trying to be better than everyone else and like trying to transcend the boundaries of being a good person and a bad person, I think it was really well done.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
So for me, her delivery was incredible. The content was really a whole load of nothing. But what really killed the promo for me, and this happens for any promo, was the crowd. The crowd was so determined. They were so determined to shit on it. It almost doesn't matter how good of a promo it is. you'd have to be someone of Rock or Austin levels to turn that crowd.
Yeah. I think my main issue with it is it went on way too long.
Yeah, it went on too long, and it needed some kind of babyface interference early on, so the crowd would, actually be more involved than... Because they were involved, but they were just being involved for the sake of being assholes. They weren't booing her necessarily because she was doing good heel work. And I feel like if they had someone come out that they could rally behind, then they'd have reason to boo Stephanie properly.
Yeah. I mean, I think the majority of the crowd interaction within that promo was everyone chanting for Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if I don't know if Shane was actually there, though. I'm guessing he wasn't, backstage at all. But if they did bring him out then, it would have saved it. And at least the content would have felt like it had purpose. But considering she essentially has nothing to do with the match, I mean, I think that she's more to do with the Triple H and Roman Reigns feud. I don't see her as any part of the Shane McMahon, The Undertaker one.
I don't know, because he wants Raw, and I get where she's coming from. She's got a family as well. Why does Shane get Raw and his sons get Raw when he fucked off for 7, 8 years?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like Sam said, the content made sense. It was there, but it just, I don't know, it just, as a promo, I didn't enjoy it. You could have given that to me from anyone, and I don't think it would have come, with that crowd, it wouldn't have gone across well, unless it was The Rock or Steve Austin.
I get the storyline. Oh, not storyline. I get the idea behind it, but it did feel a bit too long, and it did feel way too scripted. It would have been nice for her to go off script.
Yeah, because that's the best part of this feud, isn't it? By the way, I disagree with you, Matt. I think that this is Steph's feud. Roman Reigns and Triple H's feud is like a feud between them.
But this one's the McMahon's.
This is the McMahon feud, yeah.
No, for me, I see this is Vince's feud. Shane is coming back to take it away from the Authority, and Vince is the figurehead of that. He's the one that should be shouting Shane down. Stephanie, on the other hand, she should be kept for, as, in a way, Triple H's spokesperson in this feud. Triple H should keep coming out as the game and doing what he did on Raw last week. When he just busted Roman Reigns up, and then have Stephanie come out and get him the heat, because she's the one that could do it. I think, in a way, she's kind of wasted in this.
I
Vince
reckon
could handle this perfectly on his own.
I think she'll be doing both.
But then you just have too much of her.
The outcome of the shit.
I agree, but I don't want this to become WrestleMania 16, where you've got all four of the McMahons getting in on one feud. I think it'd be better spent having them split across the two main feuds going into WrestleMania, because at least then the content feels a little different. Whereas if you have, like we did on Raw, Stephanie and Vince both coming out essentially cutting the same promo, it kind of feels a bit like, oh, I've just watched this. I've seen an hour's worth of two people talking about the same thing, featuring The Undertaker.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm struggling to disagree with that, come to think of it.
She could be in both storylines, to be honest. She's got beef with Roman, and she should be in her husband's corner.
Mm.
But then again, why should she let her brother, who's been away for 8 years, take what she's been working hard on?
Yeah, but surely then Triple H should be getting in on it, because he's got just as much of a stake in it as what Stephanie does.
I reckon he'll come into it after WrestleMania.
Yeah, but that's my point, Joe. I'd rather we feel like there's two separate stories going on. Yeah, you can have her bridge over like you did on Raw, but don't have that every single week, because I'm going to get tired of it, and I'm sure a lot of other people are as well.
Yeah, sure.
I think she'll do 1 week. She's going to be Triple H's bitch, and 1 week she's going to be bitching over Shane.
Yeah, and I suppose that wouldn't be too much of an issue, so long as you don't have Vince come out straight after to do the same promo, selling us the exact same story, just with different words.
Yeah, you've got to, and hopefully they get this closer to WrestleMania, but you've got to be able to split the time between the stories you want to tell a lot better, because, and I get, of course, these are their marquee matches, so these are going to have the most time, but you've either got to cut one of those promos down from Vince or Stephanie, or only have one of them, and then use that time to build up another feud. For example, whatever Kevin Owens or Kalisto are going to do, because those should be the next big matches on the card that you need to start caring about.
Yeah.
We're getting close enough to the time where you've got to start building the IC and US title matches, because otherwise it's just going to feel rushed and be some kind of silly multi-man spot fest.
I think that's where they're going with the IC title. I mean, judging by what we've seen on Raw between Ziggler and The Miz, and they had another match on SmackDown as well, which is pretty much the same one. But it's like, I deserve to be in the mid-card, top mid-card feud. No, I do. So, it seems like we're going in that direction already.
Yeah.
And with the Big Show coming into it as well, it's like, okay, right, I see what you're trying to do again here.
Unfortunately, I've heard something about that, but I know a few people, Ben in particular, are trying to avoid spoilers of that nature, so I don't think I'm gonna really talk about that.
All right, well, we can talk about it as the weeks go on.
Yeah, exactly. I think there will be a couple of individual storylines within a multi-man for the IC title. I think that's the way they're going to go with it.
I think I'd rather see that than have a throwaway IC title match between, for example, Kevin Owens and Big Show, and then further down the card we've got a randomly put together match between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz.
Agreed.
It works better in a multi-man, because at least there's a bit of importance behind it.
Speaking of multi-man championship matches, I think we discussed this last week. Forgive me if I can't remember, because, we did have to record last week's podcast twice, so kind of difficult to remember if we did discuss this. But they did in the end go with the triple threat between Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch, and went for a double fit and finish similar to what we've seen on NXT.
Yeah. 2 matches this week. Both of them were really good from Raw and SmackDown. I enjoyed them. But the finishes were, as expected, the doubles. And it just felt a little forced, I think. I'm all behind this match, but I think they deserve a bit more credibility than having 2 matches where the finish was so obviously scripted. If you know what I mean. The one on Raw where she hit the sunset flip off a top rope and then just fell backwards. I mean, how silly did that look? And SmackDown, ended up being a double disqualification. Once again, it just felt like, right, okay. I'd rather them just come out and say we're going to have a triple threat match at Mania than go through this tiresome, build up to it.
You have to give them a reason to have a triple threat, though, because no one realistically wants a triple threat. Charlotte doesn't want it because that's 2 people who can take a title.
Well,
Becky and Sasha don't want it.
Well, you see,
that's the person who can take the title.
This could link back to what we were discussing a minute ago. We want to have, time given to other feuds. Why don't we just have Stephanie come out and be like, yeah, you remember when I took I was the reason for the Divas Revolution, so we're going to cap it off at WrestleMania as I announced that we're going to have a triple threat. And then you could build the heat between all the participants through that. Instead of having double finishes, which is the exact same as what we're having on NXT. It just seems a little bit... We have no other reason to put these people against each other. We can't think of anything better.
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say other than that. It's a bit lazy, but I still think it's the best way they could have done it.
I think it's the only way they could have done it, but makes sense.
Either way, it'll be a great match. And, I think we deserve it.
No one's doubting that.
Yeah, I'm going to say, no matter how you feel about how they got there, the match itself and the fact that they did get there, I think, should keep at least everyone in this conversation happy.
I'm just glad Becky Lynch is in there. I was scared they was just going to, fuck her off. I'm happy she's in there. She deserves to be there.
I'm happy she's in it.
Likewise. But you then got to think after WrestleMania, presuming, of course, she doesn't win. They even acknowledged this in one of the backstage segments. They were like, someone's going to go on to be the champion. The other's going to be the one that is the obvious challenger, and then someone's just going to get left behind. Totally not hinting towards the fact that Becky's going to be the one who's just awkwardly left with nothing to do post-WrestleMania. I think that's more of a comment on the lack of forward planning and talent available on the Divas roster currently.
Yeah, hopefully they use this to tell some kind of underdog story for Becky. I think we're going to see Paige come back into the title picture after WrestleMania as well. So
yeah, because she's been completely off television recently.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time we saw her.
I'm not really sure. She was doing tag matches with Natalya for some odd reason.
See, I'd love to see another if Charlotte does hold on to it after WrestleMania, I'd love to see another Natalia-Charlotte feud. Because they had a match on SmackDown not too long ago, and that was brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That one in NXT was really good for me. I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is not a lot of people watch that, like, because that was back when NXT wasn't really the NXT we have today. It was still in its, like, teething period. I think a lot of people deserve to see that match on a bigger stage, if you will.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say that was when NXT was getting good. Not when it was filled with stars, but I'd say it was when it was good, because that was just after Paige had been... So this would be just after WrestleMania 30. Well, not just after. A couple of months after. Paige had been stripped of the...
I'd say Paige and Emma's matches were more forgotten about.
Yeah, that was when NXT wasn't the glistening jewel. The very first takeover.
Because them two matches were brilliant, and no one mentions them ever.
Everyone's forgotten them.
Well, but, like any brand, it goes through a growth.
Yeah, I don't know, because I didn't watch it, like, strictly back then. So I'm really going on, like, my own experience with it, but, like, I still think a lot of people missed that first takeover with, was it the one with Neville and Bo Dallas in the main event? Yeah.
In the match, and the Sami Zayn, Cesaro masterclass.
Yeah, a lot of people miss that stuff, including myself. So yeah, I think it's only worth them, not exactly repeating it, but, you know, just give everyone a taster of what they did miss, and they'd be like, look, you should go back and watch that now. Moving on with SmackDown, we had a pretty decent main event, actually, between Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose, which is, of course, expected from them two. But I like the fact that they're sort of continuing that feud in a way. Like, they're going to use it as like these two are going to constantly come back and vie against each other over the course of their careers.
Yeah, it's going to be Sami Zayn and Owens is going to be the feud that goes on forever. But this one has potential to linger.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone expected it to end up being like Ambrose and Rollins being the new Cena and Orton. But I think at this point, I'd rather see it become Ambrose and Owens, being the, like, marquee feud of this era.
I think to do this right, you need a couple of those, rather than constantly going back to the same one. I mean, how often did all of us, and a lot of other people, complain about just how often we saw Cena and Orton because it just felt like they had nothing else to fall back on? If they have a couple of these, if you have, you know, a handful of opponents, let's say Ambrose or Reigns or whoever you want to go with, a couple of opponents for them to fall back on, and suddenly things will look... They won't, of course, be fresh, because we're still talking about rehashing feuds here, but a lot better than if we just saw the same one over and over again.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That's what's so good about Owens, though. He can feud with anyone. I see Owens having, like, 10 amazing feuds throughout his WWE career. Like,
throughout this coming year.
He is amazing, Owens.
Yeah, he's really come into himself, like, ever since coming up to the main roster. I was a bit worried about him when he first debuted. Like, after the Cena feud, I was a bit like, oh, yeah, he's going to become the next Neville, where they somehow forget about his existence. But no, I'm glad that he's, like, taking most, if not all, main events, especially on SmackDown.
I think perhaps unlike Neville, because both Neville and Owens appear to be Triple H guys, I feel like Owens won Vince over, probably with his promo work. I feel like that's probably what edged it, because I don't think Owens is as bad promo as some people make out. Neville is as bad promo as some people make out, but obviously Owens is on a different class, and Vince likes that.
Yeah. But speaking about Neville, we can nicely segue into NXT this week. What a fucking main event that was.
Jesus Christ, I absolutely loved that match.
I love that they give them enough time to do a proper main event on regular television. I feel like...
It's only an hour, and yet...
I know, I feel like Raw doesn't give... Even when they have, like, a so-called big main event, I feel like they still don't give them enough time. Whereas this felt perfect. I don't know.
Yeah. And did anyone clock it? Like, because it felt like a good 20-25 minutes.
It felt like that to me. I didn't clock it.
Yeah, it felt like quite long, didn't it? It was good.
It was great, and Neville had some really good heel work as well. Well, they both did at various points in the match. I thought they were both showing good flexibility within their character. But my only criticism of that match, and it's nothing to do with either of the guys participating, but the fact that it was last on the taping. Like, the crowd was so dead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. They're boring, weren't they? They was asleep.
I mean, there was some good moments in there. There was the occasional NXT chant that broke out. There was the occasional holy shit or whatever. But I mean, this isn't fuck Florida crowds, because after going through 4 to 5 hours worth of NXT, I'm sure that anyone probably would have been that dead, unless you're of course London. But
Yeah, I think they should stop doing them, all the tapings in one go. Like,
it's kind of
it
hard.
hurts it a bit, yeah. I think
It's
they
kinda
should just
hard.
like spread it out over a few days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit difficult when they only do hours worth of episodes. Like, as in, you get 60 minutes for one thing, and then the next 60 minutes is dedicated to the next one. So you couldn't really do like, one taping a night if we were going to follow that.
You could just like have like the undercard, like
Well, they're on
Just
tour
do
as well,
like-
though, aren't they? You got to remember.
use it like as a house show, and then do the taping,
Yeah,
and then do that for like 3 or 4 nights in a row. They could easily do that.
yeah. At least then you get a bit of a varied crowd as well. Like, one night could be a bit more hype than the next.
Exactly. Then when it comes to like taping number 4, you ain't like, oh, I just want to go to bed now.
Yeah. It's happened before, though. Numerous times even. Like, Balor and Neville's not the first match to suffer from this. I think one that stands out to me was the match between Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was so looking forward to that match, and if it weren't for the crowd, I think it would have been remembered. Like, you speak to a lot of people now and say, like, oh, do you remember the Samoa Joe Kevin Owens match on NXT? What happened? It's a bunch of chin locks, But I think that was more down to the fact that the crowd was just so dead. But nevertheless, not taking anything away from the Balor Neville match, it was brilliant. Exactly what they should have got.
I think the whole NXT was good. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Like,
It
we was
was
talking,
a good
like,
episode.
it's an hour, but they get a lot done in an hour, don't they?
Yeah. But, I mean, I think that's more down to the fact that you've got, like, 2-3 jobber matches every episode. I mean, it does advance characters, but then you have some cases, like you do with the Drifter Elias Sampson, where he's just sort of like, he's floating about at the moment, drifting, if you will, no pun intended. But, like, you give him these jobber matches every week, and there's no feud behind it.
I think it's hurting him.
No motivation. Yeah.
Because he's getting some promo time, but they're so vague that I don't feel like it is helping to establish his character, but it's not getting him anywhere with any of the viewers, because they're still just confused, and when the commentary even sounds confused, I don't feel like that's quite right. I don't know. He doesn't appear to have a lot of direction at the moment, and I don't feel like anyone's going to get behind him until they do. I don't feel like these squash matches are helping him right now.
Definitely
I think the squash matches only work if you do it like once or twice, but like, how long's he been doing the squash matches now?
since London. So
Exactly.
that's part of
a
a
long
month.
time.
Few months. Yeah, it's like, if he got worked into a feud, like, I remember Baron Corbin's like rise into the mid card, and even though he was given squash matches pretty much on a weekly basis, he at least was working with Bull Dempsey to build up I've been squashing guys, you've been squashing guys, let's fight.
Yeah,
There was at least,
that worked. That was fun.
and I mean, the match wasn't exactly much of a payoff, but it was a good feud, and I think Samson needs something similar to that. And it's unfortunate, because I think if James Storm was still under contract, that would have been perfect. I think
Maybe.
those two would have had good chemistry together. But hey, I think the main issue that I have with Samson is the fact that both commentators shit all over him.
Yeah.
Right, the entire match. Corey Graves is meant to be the heel commentator, and even he's there like, oh, check out this hipster. And that's coming
He
from
just
him.
wants to be cool though, doesn't he?
Mm.
Like, he's
that's
done that
probably-
a few
that's
times.
his character, that is.
No, he's done it a few times. Like, if it's like a gimmicky character, he'll shit over it.
I agree that it's just his character, but I don't think you should be doing it if it's going to hurt the talent involved.
Yeah, precisely.
I mean,
It's like JBL when he buried the Ascension. It was like, okay, I get that that's somewhat working with the storyline, but it was a massive attribute to how they became, like, the tag jobbers.
Yeah, thank God Booker tried to put them over, Because if Byron was on that table then, the Ascension would have died even quicker.
Definitely. And I worry that that's going to happen with Samson as well, because Todd Phillips, his name Tom Phillips, like he's not helping at all, because he's the face commentator, and of course he's the one there trying to root for the faces. Corey Graves naturally should be taking heel commentator for it to
Like
actually work.
Tom's even set Corey up. He's like, "Oh, so have you heard any more about him in your hometown?" Corey's like, "No, I don't care."
Exactly. It's like, oh, come on, like it's gonna kill him a lot sooner than we think.
Not a fan, and I think Corey Graves is someone we have a lot of praise for, but...
Yeah, I really like Corey, but sometimes when it comes to gimmicky characters, he does shit over it a bit.
Yeah. I mean, he's arguably the best commentator going, like, in WWE entirely. And, you know, it's little bits like that that makes me start, like, reconsidering him. Because imagine if he comes up to WWE and... trying to think of a good example here. Like, say if the Matadors came back. That's a very gimmicky thing. He would shit all over that. And if they're meant to be heel, then who's going to be the one supporting them?
Yeah, that's true. Like,
Exactly. All the Vaudevillains out there. I suppose he is back. That's weird. He's back in the Vaudevillains, even though they're heel right now.
He's a bit 50-50 on them.
I think it's part of Elias's character that no one likes him.
Yeah.
No, because he shut over Hill Becky as well.
And look how that kind of left her. Even though she, like, made up for it in the ring, especially when she had the face turn. But, like, when she was a heel, no one really knew who she was or even cared about her.
Yeah.
It was an amazing debut.
Hang on, let's... I mean,
No, we are talking about Austin Aries.
right, that's a...
That was amazing. I
It
thought
was great.
the whole thing was done, and it's brilliant for Corbin as well. He did an amazing job.
I love it, because they've used this angle a couple of times now, and it seems to work every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
but
this
they
seems
haven't
to
done
make
it where like
sense.
a debut's like getting attacked on the ring. Normally, the new person gets attacked like a few weeks after.
Yeah, that's
On
true.
his way to the ring and getting jumped from behind, like bam, fuck you. This is my spot.
Yeah.
Get in
It's-
line, you.
God, Baron Corbin's improved immensely, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've never been the biggest Baron Corbin guy, but over these past few weeks, like, he's really, like, starting to appeal to me now. The good thing about this little segment is, though, that Austin Aries now doesn't have that awkward period where he has to establish himself in the NXT crowd. Like, he doesn't need any jobber matches or anything similar to that.
Anyone else have any... I mean, obviously we spoke quite a bit about Austin Aries last week. Anyone else have anything to say about Aries or Corbin or the upcoming feud?
Oh, Aries selling was great. The way he flipped into the board, that looked brutal.
Yeah, that did look really good. Like, the whole segment looked good.
Yeah, it was really done. Especially Corbin, and it's still pissed off at Regal. I wouldn't mind, like, I know Regal probably couldn't do anything in the ring now, but I like they've got a little feud going on.
Well, he's been lobbying for a retirement match for, I think it's been a good few months now. I think it was originally meant to be at London, but that eventually got cancelled. I think it was down to injury.
Corbin puts Regal out. Imagine how much that'd do for Corbin.
Imagine how much it would have done for them if they'd have done it at London, though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I
unfortunately,
still
it's
think
an
it'd be
opportunity.
big. I still think it'd be big in America because Regal's really liked around the world. Like, he's highly rated.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, he's been well established for years, but I think, the perfect time was in London.
I don't know, because there was no story behind it. There's a story behind it now. I don't see who could have done it at London.
Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze?
I
Was
think
it-
I think this was just after he went up to the main roster, so it wouldn't really work. But they had that small sort of feud going on where Tyler Breeze essentially took the role of Baron Corbin here and was like, "You're not giving me anything. Give me something big." Oh yes, you go against Jushin Thunder Liger.
I love Tyler Breeze, but I think it's more perfect for Corbin to do it.
I think Corbin needs it more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd
just,
be like huge catapult on the main roster as well.
Yeah, I think it could do a lot for Corbin.
Jump.
Speaking of retirements or potential retirements, well, I suppose Regal has essentially already retired. Daniel Bryan already announced for the UK tour. it's now been announced that The Undertaker is going to join him on that tour. So there was speculation that The Undertaker might be retiring after this WrestleMania, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
No, I was really shocked to hear that they announced The Undertaker, like, for the UK tour again. Because I know he was there last time they came down, which unfortunately I missed going to the tapings. But from what I know, he's scheduled to be in a tag match against Luke Harper and Eric Rowan alongside the Big Show, which, like, it's suggesting that he's going to be once again in a feud with Wyatt post WrestleMania.
Is that just house shows though?
I'm not sure.
'Cause that sounds like it's just a house show for them.
It probably is a house show.
That is a very house
main
show.
event. But like, it's still sort of giving that impression that, I mean, if the Undertaker's going to be on SmackDown, Raw, wherever they're scheduling him, I think it's SmackDown. But nevertheless, he's going to need something to sort of be building on, and whether or not that's going to be Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, who knows?
Maybe The Undertaker will finally put Bray over. I mean, maybe. I agree that it sounds very house show-like, and I don't think this will be the case, but maybe.
I mean, I think one of us mentioned last week that potentially Bray Wyatt has something to do with the Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. I can't remember if that was any of us, but I have discussed it with someone.
We didn't discuss that last week. That sounds utterly bizarre. I think that would annoy a lot of people, actually.
I hope
mean,
that doesn't happen.
I don't know. I think it would...
I'm done with Taker and Bray now. I think it's like the mystique of that match. I think it's done. It's over.
I think it could be picked up again as a smaller feud.
Gonna be match of the year.
Yeah, I think it can be picked up again as a smaller feud, especially if Bray goes over. But it's been done twice.
To face someone else.
Yeah.
Like Taker and Owens. I want that bad.
I say, not only has it been done twice, but I don't think Bray Wyatt has any place interfering in the McMahon feud.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent, but at the same time, like, we come
Wouldn't
back to that
make
classic
Shane a heel?
Well, yeah, I mean, this match is just begging for a swerve, like, during. Whether that means Shane is turning heel alongside the Wyatt family, like, trying to take over the WWE. Maybe he ends up being
that'd
Sister
be weird.
Abigail, Christ.
I think that would turn them face.
It probably would. But, I mean, if it goes against The Undertaker, then, you know, I mean, that's kind of... You're going to turn heel no matter what you do to The Undertaker. But, I wouldn't mind if Bray Wyatt interfered, because at least it would suggest that he's going to be in, like, a main event spot for the months following WrestleMania. But I agree to the point where I don't think it needs to be a feud with The Undertaker again. As good as it was leading up to last year's WrestleMania, not again. Then again, I'd love to see a casket match between those two. I think that would be, like, it would suit both of them. Obviously The Undertaker, but I think Bray Wyatt needs, like, a match type of his own to work with. And something like the casket match would suit him. Like, it's the only guy that could really take it. Right, so, yeah, on that note, the UK tour is going to be hype as shit. One thing that we have been discussing recently, and I think it'd be a nice little thing to end on here, is a potential gaming weekend just after WrestleMania, because we're all going to be together. So...
Was
Gonna
that
be absolutely hilarious.
Was that a clap, Joe?
No.
Sounded like one.
It sounded, yeah, I thought it was
I'm not that happy for it. Don't push it off.
really selling it there.
But yeah,
But
so...
yeah. We're thinking maybe like like some of the older games on the PS1, like SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, Here Comes the Pain on the PS2, Crush Hour, the newer ones. Who knows what we're going to do, but that's something that's going to be coming within the next few weeks, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
We could get one of the GM modes out.
I'm game for
That
that.
could be fun.
Can we be in
And that's
teams?
something.
Can we pick our
Yeah.
teams?
Yeah. We obviously have to be teams, because it ain't going to be 4 brands, is it?
I know, but can we choose them now? Who do I want? Who's going to be my tag team
For
partner?
a hat.
Yeah, we should draw it from a hat. That'd be
Okay,
good fun.
fine. So yeah,
Careful.
this is so during kind of WrestleMania. I mean, it'll be the week after WrestleMania. We'll all be together. There'll be one of these. There'll be a live podcast. It'll be both going up in audio and video form. So You actually get to see
see
what
our
we
lovely
look like,
faces.
which is crazy. And then we'll also record just a buttload of us playing some wrestling games and try and just get some more content out there while we're actually together, because right now we're kind of all just scattered across the country.
It's gonna be
Yes,
fun. But yeah, if you have any suggestions for that or anything you'd like to see from us, please do send it into our Twitter, which is at TGIS Podcast. You'll find a link for that somewhere in the description or just wherever you are right now. You can also find us at thoseguysinshorts.com, where we'll probably be posting like regular updates, news and whatnot. I've written down here that following my incredible finish to last week's podcast where I'm standing over Sam with the championship, Leonardo DiCaprio has cashed in his Oscar in the Bank contract. He's still the championship, guys. What a swerve. What's going to happen next week? Find out when we come back next Saturday. Wait, bye.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye.